A new tool for tracking early stage startups and key ecosystems around the country. We're talking about that today on a product release from Technically. Hey, I'm Chris Wink. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Technically. We're a news organization with a community of technologists and entrepreneurs. It is Friday, August 22nd, 2025, and we have quietly released the very first version of a new tool of ours that I want to give you an early look at. We're calling it the RealLIST Startup Tracker, and it has a dashboard of 200 private companies that we Technically have followed essentially since their founding. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough and give you some sense of what we intend to do here. The announcement story is live on Technically this AM, so this can be a companion look at the RealLIST Startup Tracker. So let me show you a couple things, and then we'll dig right into it. So Technically /startups, the URL, real simple. We have more than 200 startups have been, well more than that have been named to our RealLIST startup lists over the last almost decade. Basically, our newsroom curates a list of 10 to 15 promising early stage companies that are 3 years or younger every year. We've done that since 2017 in a handful of ecosystems we follow most closely. We put 200 of them. We had to start somewhere. Shout out to editor Katie Malone and editorial director Danya Henninger for all the work on this. And what we have here is the status, those that are active, basically that are still privately operating, acquired, they've been bought, merged with another firm, they've gone public, or they've closed operations. So I have this as a default setting active. We have the key ecosystems that we pulled from Baltimore, DC, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Delaware. We presently initially left off Brooklyn, where we did do this RealLIST Startups for several years. And then we also have a way to look at where they're currently headquartered, as we have had some startups move. But the key point here is any firm on this list has gotten over a threshold. Our RealLIST Startups list that come out every Q1 are something we're deeply proud of. So being on this list at all matters, but 140 are active right now. And I want to show you a little bit of the data that's going into this, because the newsroom did a heck of a lot of work on this. You see this score. This is first version. This is theoretically on a next of 100, but you see our top rank is 58. So this is less like a grade and more the aggregate of the weights of data points we've put in. We give you the RealLIST ecosystem, basically the home ecosystem that we put in, and a couple obvious points. We've been in Pittsburgh far fewer years than we have in Baltimore and Philadelphia. So some of our older companies are from Baltimore, DC, and Philadelphia. So Pittsburgh has fewer older firms. But you can see the founding year, dating back all the way to 2010, Phenom, which is an exception, which I can get back to. Status. And then we show a few of the data points we're weighting in this score. Among them is PitchBook's proprietary exit predictor score. Bunch of data going into there that predicts the likelihood of a either going public or being acquired in a given time period. Our newsroom did a boatload of work on patents being held by within the U.S. Patent Office. These are primarily utility patents. In this first version, are not looked at by quality or references, so it's an aggregate number, so it's weighted accordingly. We do have via Crunchbase total outside financing, and thanks to the Crunchbase folks for work on this, which again is not a perfect or all-in number. We also have visibility score relative to an industry weight, how prominent and how much activity about that firm shows up in Google. That includes Google News indexing, so a news organization like Technically provides value, but other coverage and other resources. There's other data in here too, and we put a lot of work into weighting it. This isn't about winners or losers, but essentially at first version, it gives you a window into the firms that right now we'd predict have to have the largest financial exit in the coming years, be that going public or be that an acquisition. GoPuff Logistics Firms tops the list. Phenom, the HR platform company, shows up here. Pi Insurance, which now has Colorado roots, but came out of the DC ecosystem in some form, ranks high. Best Egg out of Delaware. DBT Labs, the enterprise software firm, ranking very high. But again, less meant to be a all-in ranking, because all of these firms have gotten over some barrier for being on this list at all. So you can go find it at technically/startups, play around with it. Every Q1, so in just a few months, this will begin to get an update, and this will become a new annual cadence for us. Once a year, we'll be assessing and updating data and adding new entrants in our new class of RealLIST startups. This is also why we intend to join more ecosystems around the country, so we can add more private companies that we can follow, and we'll follow them from start to ultimate exit. And over time, I'll be curious to track our progress. If this was a fund, how would our fund perform? So check out technically/startups, which is the RealLIST Startup Tracker. Give us feedback. It's already given us some insight, as I share in the announcement story. It already informed our newsroom on some reporting that we broke in the last 6 weeks. So we'll drop those links below. Thank you so much for checking out RealLIST/startups, and we'll be sharing more in the future. Talk to you soon.